Alright, so obviously, as a jungler, you always want to start your speed. Always, always, always. Spawns at 23 and a half seconds. Make sure you understand that. I always see some junglers either not paying attention to the timer. I know, I do it sometimes too. And it just spawns before you have a chance to hit it. Always make sure you're starting the camp as soon as it spawns to save time. Because trust me, those seconds can really help your rotation. So what I do once I got the speed, make sure you're always pointing to that corner, like I said before in the previous part. Um, you'll what I like to do personally is as soon as I get my speed, I go all the way to mana, drop the mana for my solo, let him know I'm dropping it, pull towards the corner for him so he has less steps to take, so to speak, to go back to the lane. So once I drop that, I immediately go all the way to the mid to the back camps, clear my back so I can hit level 2. And then I'm always looking for the other jungler, make sure I understand when he's hitting level 2, letting my team know when he's hitting level 2, and letting me know when he's rotating the mid, because all junglers will be rotating the mid at some point, but knowing when is also very important. So at the backs, at this point, this is a judgment call. Okay, if the enemy jungler has already hit number 2, level 2, you do not want to hit straight the mids. You actually want to go straight to mid and to start clearing the midway with your mid laner. However, if the enemy jungler has still not hit level 2 by the time you've cleared this, then the best bet would be, instead of going to mid lane here, and delete this. Instead of going to mid lane, what you could do is go immediately for those rights. It's very risky, it's a very aggressive, but it works from time to time when the enemy jungler is struggling to clear their own camps. Alright, so 9 times out of 10 though, you're probably going to be on the same time in terms of clearing. You guys shouldn't really have any drastic differences in camp clear, depending on the matchup, of course. But normally you're just going to head straight to mid, and then here's another judgment call. It's either do we invade red, or do we go for backs, or not backs, stupid me, lefts, and let them have the rights, or do we go and secure red? Now, this raises a lot of questions, such as, is duo, do they have pressure? Are they getting pressured? Do we have pressure in mid? A lot of questions to be answered, which is why the jungler position is, honestly, in my opinion, pretty difficult. It's a lot of tough calls to make, and it's all about timing, and it's all about wave pressure. So, say we have pressure in mid, but we don't have too much pressure. We have like 3 creeps over them. So my call would be just go straight to mids. And then after mids, go immediately for that red buff. Make sure you're securing that. I like to go straight for my backs. Make sure I'm getting those off cooldown. You can always also go to your own backs as well. I usually leave that for the mid laner to clear. Um, and make sure I'm not splitting too much of my farm with the mid, so I can get him ahead as soon as possible. And right around this time is when you'll be hitting close to 900 gold. It should be about 800, 750, something like that. And this is when your speed should be spawning soon. So get some of this junk off the screen. Actually, let's a little bit smaller so I can have more room. All right, and then after your backs, when you do the after you finish doing the red or the mids, whatever you're doing, you can go straight back to mid, split another wave, and then that will be by the time your speed's spawning, and you always want to make sure you're getting that full cooldown. So you always want to make sure you're cutting through the tower, back to the speed, dropping it, and this is another choice that you can make. Sometimes I'll drop it at this corner right here, and I won't pick it up. I'll back, get my tier 2 boots, and just go all the way and get that speed buff. And the reason for doing that is all about efficiency on your speed timer, and that's just getting the most seconds out of your speed buff. Because if you picked it up here, backed, sure you can get to wherever you're going, left jungle, right jungle faster, but just picking that speed up Saves you about 10 to 15 seconds of what you were wasted just getting to the speed buff. So I think that can work. It works from time to time. Don't do it all the time, especially if you want to be left instead of right. It can be really helpful to just pick it up or just drop it and pick it up later. All right. Well, that covers the start of the game. And what you should be doing. I can't delete that. That's actually really annoying. Anyways, so obviously your heavily contested farm are your oracles, your mids, and yeah, your other mids. Your left and right mids and your oracles. This is your neutral farm zone right here. Always want to make sure you're getting some sort of farm in this area. Do not let the enemy get control of all of these camps, or you will be losing the game very shortly. These can stack up later in the game and can really propel a team to honestly just stomp the other team. Make sure you're always controlling these. This is your safe farm area. Um, Usually this is going to be your second choice, unless you're being extremely out-pressured in all these lanes. You always want to make sure you're prioritizing your waves, your neutral farm, always over safe farm. Safe farm is always going to be guaranteed, usually. Um, so it's just a better bet to go for the neutral farm and the waves rather than wasting time doing farm that's going to be readily available. And then here we can talk about invading. Um, so invading would be invading any of the enemy camps, which is going to be around this area. So you know their damage, their purple, their backs, their speed. As a jungler though, honestly, in terms of invades, you're honestly, if I can speak, that'd be nice. You're honestly only gonna look in two areas, which I'll show you here in a second. Crap. You're gonna look in two areas. You're gonna look at this back camp right here. You're gonna look at this red buff. These are the two most important areas as a jungler when you're invading. Sure, you can look at these backs, but they're a little bit risky. This requires a little bit more of situational awareness of where the enemy jungler's at, where the mid laner's at, where what dual lane's doing. This is more of like a what's the word I want to use? Jungler who definitely knows what they're doing. I would say I wouldn't touch this until you have a really good understanding of the jungle. Because you see junglers going for this camp all the time. But for a better bet, their enemy back camps on jungle side, speed camp side, is probably one of the most highly sought after areas as a jungler because it takes away farm from the jungler specifically. And then the red, which takes away farm from the mid laner and doesn't give them that red buff, which is definitely OP to have on every mid laner. Um, this just requires a timers on enemy camps, and the easiest way to do that is by looking at your own. So if you know you and the jungler are doing the exact same start, and he headed straight to mana into his backs, you know his backs come up every minute. So you want to make sure that when the time is coming up for your backs, that means his backs are definitely coming up soon. So that's when you can look to invade his, and then after you do that, you can just go straight to the mids if they're up. If not, go to your own backs, and then yada yada. Very nice strats to do for as a jungler. And then there's the red side camp that can invade. This is if you want to pressure the mid laner. It's always important to understand that when they go from mid to their red, that you have an understanding of that 2-minute timer. So, say they go to the takes them 5 seconds to get to the red from mid lane. Should only take them about 2 to 3 seconds to clear, and then from that you can judge. Just add 2 minutes to your timer at the top, and then you can judge when it's going to come up next. And you can also use your own red timer as well if you both did the exact same thing and both went to your red buff, and just go from there. Another good invade that I like to do if I want to put pressure somewhere else is just get rid of all the stuff on the screen so I can show it to you better. Is the purple and the mana buff. This is in the same area as the same level as the red and back camps, but they're a little bit closer to the lane, so it's a little bit more dangerous going for these camps. But if you have understanding of where the solo or where the dual lane is, then this could be a great invade for you because it puts whatever lane you're invading. So say I'm invading dual lane, it puts the dual lane extremely behind. It really hurts their farm. And if your dual lane is allowed to get both purple, both red, and oracles, and you take away that purple buff, that's a level right there. That's a whole level that can really be used to win the fight in this lane. Same thing applies to mana, but in a different sense. You're basically taking away their mana for the solo to use abilities. So if it's like a Colin, I'm not really too worried about invading this because he doesn't really need the mana buff anyways. He definitely could use the farm, but an all solo lane gets enough farm from waves and their own back camps. So they don't really need this farm 10 times out of 10 or 9 times out of 10. But on more mana usage characters, such as Guan Yu or Ardio, who really need and rely on this mana buff and that 10% cooldown, it can really hurt them in that early stages of the game if they're trying to fight the other soul laner and they have their blue buff. They have the extra mana per second. They have that 10% cooldown, and they're just railing into you because you don't have a blue buff. And that's why it's very important to understand what you want to invade based on who's on the enemy team and what gods they have. So say I have a Giannis in mid lane. I want to be making sure I'm looking for that red buff. Make sure he's not getting that red buff. Make sure he's not getting online. Always making sure his ults. I'm removing his ult from his kit so he can't rotate to gank anywhere else. Excuse me. I'll evade blue if it's a very mana dependent solo laner like Ardio, like I said earlier. Make sure they can't get online and really become that bully, that in lane bully that everyone hates. Or if I'm looking at dual lane, I'm seeing they have an Artemis Ganesh or something like that, something like some like really mid to late game dual lane right here. Make sure I'm always just farming this purple buff so they can get that extra experience. Make sure they're always just a level behind my dual lane, etc., etc. And then remembering that this back camps are just to put the enemy jungler behind and the solo lane in some scenarios. And yeah, I pretty much covers majority of what I wanted to talk about with the Conquest map because it is a lot of information to take in, and I recommend just playing back this video at certain points so you have a better understanding of what to do in certain situations. And remember, a lot of this is just your own judgment call, and a lot of awareness comes into play when going for or doing anything really as a jungler. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching again. Um, this will be the last part of this tutorial. It's all going to be uploaded to YouTube. Please comment if you have any questions. Give the video a thumbs up. And look forward to videos in the future by Clearly Gaming. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.